Hello, seventh grade students. Gosh, do I miss you guys. I hope everyone's doing well and taking the appropriate precautions. As you've heard by now, we are going to be trying something completely new as we start the fourth quarter. Now, distance learning will be challenging at first, but I know that we can make this a fun and positive experience by working together. Now, our first goal is making sure that we're all able to access our Google accounts and subsequently any Google Classroom and Google Suite issues that may come up. All of my assignments are going to be posted to Google Classroom, which is nothing new if you have been with me all school year. That being said, do not expect daily work to be posted. I repeat, I will not be posting something every single day. Rather, I will be posting one weekly module each and every Monday that you can work on at your own pace throughout the week. Now, as a quick side note before we get started, please do not worry about your grades. We are still working that out administratively, trying to figure out exactly what grades will look like during this time. Please just try your best and work towards completing each task that I give you. I will try my best to guide you through the work in these videos. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, as you look at my screen, there's nothing that appears yet in classwork. That's because I have not yet published it. That will be going live first thing Monday morning. So, as far as my assignment goes, it will show up under distance learning units. And you see here this saved draft that I haven't published yet. It's module 1, the week of 3:30 through 4:3:20. So that's this upcoming week starting tomorrow. And inside of that, the assignment just says complete the assigned tasks within the hyperdoc. And I'll explain what a hyperdoc is in a second. It says there is nothing that must be turned into Google Classroom at this time. Okay, so none of your assignments will actually need to be turned in through Classroom this time around. There will be other things you need to do though. So like you, I'm going to go ahead and open up Unit 1. So as I open this up, it is just a Google Slides presentation, okay? And within that slideshow, what you are going to see is multiple tasks, okay? It'll walk you through each and every step. And the reason that it's called a hyperdoc is because it is full of hyperlinks. So anytime you see a light blue or sometimes different color, but typically light blue link, that means that you need to open it up by clicking on it, okay? So let's go ahead and just walk through what this looks like. So Unit 1, welcome back to ELA. Our learning targets. I can document what it is like to be a child during international pandemic. I can learn to utilize reliable sources to inform me about the world around me. I can review and utilize new terminology related to a new topic. I can engage in an academic online conversation with my peers. The word academic is the key point here, ladies and gentlemen. So I know that the internet for you guys typically is a place to hang out, a place to, talk to your friends, to play video games, to communicate through social networks, okay? While this is still a awesome place to communicate, it needs to be focused on our academics, okay? Now, essential questions. What have you done during your time away from school? How have you been feeling about school, sports, and socialization? What constitutes a myth? And we will answer these throughout the first module. So the steps are outlined for you. I'm not going to spend too much time going through this, but step 1, you're going to be using Flipgrid. So if you've never used Flipgrid before, I think you all have in social studies with Mrs. Wyman, but for those of you who have not, I have set up individual class pages for LA1, LA2, and LA3. They're all going to be the same. I just want to keep you guys confined to your individual classes just like normal. But the question you will be answering in Flipgrid, and it's already there for you, what have you missed the most about school while we've been shut down? What have you realized about your life that is worth sharing with your peers? So I'll have an individual video of mine that I post into each one of those classes. You'll just click the appropriate link. LA2, click the red, or LA1, click the red link. LA2, the green link. LA3, the blue link, just like our turn-in bins in the school. After you have posted your video, and once other people start to post theirs, you'll need to go in and respond to at least 2 of your peers' in their videos. So one of the only ways that we can really get back to a sense of normalcy, guys, is to talk to each other. Okay, so this is going to be a way of, social distancing, but also still connecting socially. So again, I'm going to need you to go to each one of those assigned flip grids. You'll need to create an account if you do not already have one. Use your school Google account, and go ahead and post your 30 to 90-second response. I said it is a maximum of 90, but I want a minimum of 30. Okay. After you complete that, and that shouldn't take you too long, after you complete that, step 2, you're going to read an article from Newsella. It's assigned here. Again, this is the beauty of a hyperdoc. I can, if I turn this onto present mode, I can actually show you that once I scroll over this, I can click on the Newsella article and it opens it up in a new tab. So this article is about COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Okay, I know it's a topic that not everybody's excited to hear more about, but I know from my personal experience talking to family members, talking to my friends, even just getting on social media, people don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, so what I would like you guys to do, as I show you an answer there, what I would like you guys to do is complete, it's only at a 6th grade reading level, but still, completely read the article and answer the 4 questions. Okay, so they're, like always, are 4 questions. You do not need to do the writing that's attached to this. So just read through the article, learn some things about the virus that is affecting our everyday lives right now so that you can ultimately become more educated citizens. After you complete that, you finish the quiz, turn it in. I will get your score. You don't need to send it to me or anything like that. Okay. Um, Last but not least on this slide, it says remember to take a screenshot of the Newsella article. If you click on this link that says screenshot, it will take you to ways, because we're all going to be using different devices. This is just going to tell you how you can take a screenshot on whatever device you're using. I think it's set up for a PC, a Windows-based PC. If you're using something different, just Google that if you don't know how already. Okay. The third step is to open and review this assignment sheet. You're going to be doing a 2020 time capsule project for me. Now, that assignment is something that's going to take the entire 9 weeks probably to complete. I don't expect you to have it all done right away. In fact, you can't have it all done right away, but there's a little bit of choice that goes into this. Much like the one pager, you are responsible for the format that you choose. So if you look at step 2, it says choose how you want to set it up using docs, probably the simplest method. Slides is kind of nice too, though, because you can just sequentially move from one thing to the next. Google has a wonderful tool called Blogger, if any of you guys have ever blogged before. Or you can create a Google site, which is like a website. That's pretty cool. You'll be able to take that with you no matter where you go. You can continue it even after the class is over. Same can be said for all of these things. Or you can even do, and many of you probably don't even know what this is, but a physical time capsule is where you take an object that you bury in the ground eventually and you fill it up with all of these memories or mementos from a time period. So again, looking at step 3, it says this assignment will be completed throughout the entire online course. Make sure that you follow all directions. There may be weekly checks. There probably won't be weekly checks, but I would say that pretty regularly I'll ask you to submit what you have. So if I click on either the assignment sheet or the 2020 time capsule uh, image that I have here, either one of them, will take you to the correct link. And the link ultimately just gives you the assignment sheet. It says a time capsule is a collection of documents, items, and information intended to communicate with future generations. You'll be creating a digital time capsule based on this unprecedented time in history. You may curate this information, that just means collect, in any manner that you choose. We already went over that, as long as it contains the following. So each week, you'll need to have 3 minimum, okay, 3 journal entries, each one of them totaling 200 or more words. You can either free write, just kind of talking about what's going on in your life, or you can use the prompts below. So each one of these bullet points that I'll let you read represents a possible thing to talk about. Next, family interviews. Interview at least 3 family members about how they are feeling or their experiences during this time. This is a great time to reach out to relatives living in other places to connect and share your experiences. You can ask your own questions or again refer to these bulleted ones above. I kind of like that because that, again, gets you to talk to people that you might not be able to see right now. Okay, so one of the downfalls of social distancing, you don't get to see grandma, grandpa, maybe an aunt or uncle that lives somewhere else, even an older brother or sister. Not saying it has to be somebody outside your house, it could be your mom or your dad, but you definitely should try to reach out to people you don't normally talk to at this time. Next, news headlines. 3 screenshots or printouts of the headlines from national or local newspapers. That includes the Newsella one that we just assigned. Okay, so you can definitely take a screenshot of that. If you don't have a physical newspaper, like most people don't these days, remember you can check out the digital versions online. Newsella is great. Okay, there's more than just that one article on Newsella. For each headline, though, after you do the screenshot, you need to have at least 2 or 3 sentences about your reaction, or how it makes you feel or what it makes you wonder. Okay, so this is kind of like annotations that we've done throughout articles of the week all year. And then the rest of this is where you guys are going to really show what you can do. This is what you guys are killing it with all year. So, entertainment. What are you reading, binging, playing to keep yourself occupied? I fully expect to hear video games, Netflix, things like that. But be more specific. What games, what shows, what books, if you actually are doing any reading. Okay, I would hope so, but that's just the language arts teacher in me, the eternal optimist. Um, you need to describe any diversions or images that show what you've been up to. So, describe, again, diversions just means anything that's keeping your mind off of the reality of the world we're currently living in. And then, again, show us what you're up to. Have somebody take a picture of you playing video games or reading a book, or again, maybe it's just you sitting on the couch playing, or you know what I'm saying, watching your favorite show or movie. Um, Social media, memes. Okay. I know that many of the gentlemen in class 3 particularly are going to love that that's part of this. If you are on a social media platform, look for any memes or other ways that people are responding to this pandemic. These must be appropriate for school. I cannot emphasize that enough. No profanity, nothing that would be even remotely offensive to anyone. Okay. But still, find something funny, find something that you find engaging in some way, but it has to be, again, appropriate. Keyword. You will copy them into your time capsule along with your response to each. I would just say maybe 2 sentences tops explaining why those were of particular interest to you. And then the last one, okay, this is something you guys, again, are pretty good at. Draw a picture, write a poem, write a song, a story, go meme crazy. This is a moment for you to express yourself in a creative way and share it with future generations. Okay, so I'm going to touch on this in a little bit, but how you react to this, how you document what you've gone through. This is something that, honestly, guys, I don't think you're ever going to go through again in your entire lives. I sure hope not. Okay, from my own perspective, I hope not. But again, this is something we need to document how we felt, how we thought. Like, you guys are the youth of today. Think about Zlata from Zlata's diary. Okay, she documented what it was like. A couple of you read the Diary of Anne Frank for your biography project. It's a book that is perennially on the bestsellers list, not because it's a topic people want to really learn about, but it's a story you can't not hear because it's so pertinent and so relevant even today. So, yeah, this is going to be an assignment that takes you some time. It is going to be kind of our final project for online learning, distance learning. But I think it's very relevant, very important that you do it. So we'll come back to that every week. We'll talk about expectations for that project. Now, going back to step 3, we already went through this. Remember, one more time, 3 entries per week. Don't forget. Step 4. There's a Prezi that I will again, show you that it's linked. You just click on it and it'll take you straight to it. This Prezi is what is mythology. So we're going to move from COVID-19 into something a little more light, but still relevant, teaching theme and, learning about life through fictional characters. But again, it's taking forever. But what is a myth? You're going to go through key terminology, things like that. And then based off of what you learned, you're going to complete a Google form about what constitutes a myth. This will be a short writing, one paragraph, nothing too big. But the main point that I want you to take away is to be aware of how myths differ from tall tales, legends, and even fables. So all of that is outlined for you in the Prezi. Next, this is our last actual piece of work. I have given you a 50-term Quizlet list. Now, mythology is one of those topics that is impossible to cover without knowing who you're talking about. So there's so many different characters, so many different relationships between those characters that I want you to get on the front end of learning them now so that they make sense when we read individual tales of mythology over the next few weeks together. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be high interest. I think you guys will really like the stories. They're short, but they're very powerful. If any of you are into mythology, hopefully this is something new. If you've never read mythology before, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you think. So after you review the Quizlet list that I have shared, again, it's a lot of terms, but it's just people. So review the list by playing Quizlet Match. I may or may not have already got an 8-second score. Just saying. It's not perfect, but it's the best I could do out of like 10 tries. There's also the other tools on there you guys know, Google, or not Google, sorry, Quizlet, Gravity, and just using the flashcard tool if you want. Now, when I post this video, I am going to also try to post it to YouTube. Okay. Once it's on YouTube, if I can get at least 50 out of my 66 students to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video, not doing this for any personal gain, but just so I know how many have actually looked at it. That means if I get to that goal, again, 50 people subscribing and liking, and I will double check to make sure it's 50 different people. Okay. Then on Friday, I'm going to try to set up a Zoom meeting with as many of you as want to participate, and we will play a gigantic match of Quizlet Live, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to try to do that every week. It'll be different terms, obviously, but yeah. So that's the main time where we'll come together to do something fun. You guys love Quizlet Live. I think you'd lose some of the interest in that if you guys couldn't see each other's faces and actually work together. We'll figure out how that actually works and what that looks like. But yeah, anyways, I'm excited to see how that goes. And then as a final note, just one quick last thing. If you have any issues whatsoever, and I've already had multiple people emailing me, what do we do with one pagers? What do we do if we don't have this? Instead of sending me 43,000 random emails an hour, what I have done is I've created a Padlet discussion board. If you guys have never used Padlet before, you'll have to create an account just like you did with Flipgrid. But this is lovely for me because not only is it all in one place, that's not my email inbox overloading it. This is a really nice place. It's questions from Mr. Garland. Um, Again, it says this is like a second first day of school. We will be learning and growing together. How can I help? So if there's ever a time where my video directions, that I'm doing right now, for instance, or any of my assignments are confusing you, this is a place for you to go for clarification. It will also be, or I will also be offering virtual office hours. Um, that's something we got to work out with time. Working from home is never easy. I have a son. My wife is also currently working from home 50% of the time. So it's definitely a different deal. You don't have Mr. Garland available at his desk. But what I'm going to try to do is make myself available either through Google Meet or Zoom, depending on how many of you need my help. That'll probably be every afternoon between like 1:30 and 3:30. That's what my goal is. But yeah, guys, this quote that I have on this Padlet page. We're trying to build the plane as we fly it. That could not be any more true, in my opinion. We're trying to figure out how to do all of this, just like you guys are going to be learning how to do what we want you to do. But anyways, if you go to the Padlet page, all you have to do is click this red plus sign, and it'll open up a brand new message. So title it with what your issue is, and then write your exact question or problem or whatever it may be. And I will do my best to get back to you within the hour, because I will have my computer open all the time during this. But yeah, the nice thing about Padlet then is, let's say that, Joe Schmo has, yeah, because he's totally a kid in one of my classes. Joe has a question about, Flipgrid. Well, instead of Joe and 20 other students all asking me the same question separately, if you all refer to the Padlet page, you can see what somebody else has already asked, and you can answer your own question through their question, and maybe even my response to that question. So, once again, please use Padlet. Limit our email correspondence, because, again, it's just going to be very cumbersome, and it ultimately will lead to me and you doing more work than you have to. Okay? So I would, again, highly recommend the use of that page. Again, if you're looking for extra work, this is the question I know I'm going to get a lot, because so many of you are self-motivated and you're going to fly through all of your work and then wonder what next, okay? Especially after having 3 weeks off from school now almost. So if you're looking for extra work, go back to step 3. Even though you only have to do 3 entries per week, you can do more. Even though it's not going to be due till the end of the quarter, you can do the extra things on top of your day or weekly posts. You can go through and you can complete the creative elements below that. You can do your interviews with family members. Okay, with everybody being off from work right now, or most people being off from work right now, you can certainly take advantage of that time. If everything else is done, read something, read a book. I know that I'm going to sound like a broken record, but language arts teacher, what am I going to tell you to do? Read something, become a smarter individual. And since I am following you to 8th grade, I do expect that you don't start the summer brain drain earlier than you have to. Okay? Make sure you continue to learn and grow as human beings, even if you're not required to by law. Even if you're not showing up at a school building every day, you do need to continue working to get smarter and work harder. That really kind of concludes everything I've got to say this time around, guys. I know that there's a lot of things that I probably haven't even thought of. So again, if you're watching this and you're thinking, God, he didn't talk about this, guys, let me know. Post it in the Padlet. Again, be responsible citizens. Do not use this like you would use your own personal social media accounts. That's not what this is. This is online learning. It's school outside of the school walls. I cannot stress that enough. If you wouldn't do it inside of my classroom, don't do it in Google Classroom. Don't do it in YouTube. Don't do it in Padlet. Don't do it anywhere. Flipgrid. Okay? So, again, be responsible digital citizens. I don't know if you ever got to cover that with Mrs. Wyman, but when we get back, if we go back this year, we have no idea what that looks like, but that is something that you definitely should be able to reflect on. What you learned at this time is a lot more than just what we're asking you to do. It's how you're doing it, how you're learning, our expectations. Um, I just, I'm really looking forward to how this goes, guys. I think we're both going to learn a lot, both me and my students. We're all going to learn, and we're going to do it together. So that's it. I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for listening. Good luck this week. Let me know if I can help you in any other way. Bye, guys.